On that guy, Lamar Jackson, in his first playoff start, second quarter, Chargers up 6. Lamar's pass picked off. It was a rough first half for him. So rough, the Twitter world was begging for a switch to that guy, Joe Flacco. But the Ravens stuck with Lamar, who halfway through the fourth quarter, 3 of 10, 25 yards, and a 0 quarterback rating. But in the fourth, he found Michael Crabtree to cut the lead to 13. Less than 2 minutes to go, he found Crabtree again. And this made it a one-score game. I mean, it did take a while, but it would eventually be called a touchdown. Lamar would get a shot to win it, but Melvin Ingram recovers the fumble, and that would end the ball game. Chargers win 23-17. Here's Lamar Jackson on his day.
We just played like we didn't want to be here. I did, not my team. I feel like I played poorly. You know, there was a lot of things, you know, we could have did out there on that field to put us in a better situation. Just got to move on now and get ready for next year.
All right, Cece, what did the Chargers do defensively to shut down Lamar Jackson?
Well, one of the things they did, well, Gus Bradley, he approached Anthony Lynn, the coach, earlier in the week, and he had come up with the scheme that they had used one other time before. They used it late in the season against Kansas City, 2017 season, at the end of the season, because they had a number of linebackers that were injured, and they felt like Kansas City, with the type of speed that they had, that they needed more defensive backs on the field. So he approached Anthony Lynn earlier in the week. Anthony Lynn's initial reaction is, are you crazy? This is my first playoff game. Are you trying to get me fired? But that's one of the things that Anthony Lynn, he has going for him. He's got support on the defensive side with Gus Bradley, his former head coaching experience, and on the offensive side with Ken Wisenhunt, his former being a head coach. So that really helps you as a young coach.
So the scheme that Chris is talking about is they had 7 defensive backs on the field for 57 of the 58 snaps.
Yeah, so they had 2 safeties inside the box playing typically the normal inside linebacker spots in a nickel defense.
And that is, on its face, it was shocking to me, because I would think that, and I guess this is one of the reasons why I'm not a defensive coordinator in the NFL,
this is the one reason
that if you want to stop a running team, you add big people, not little people. But what they saw was the part that makes the Ravens running game so dominant is the speed of the quarterback, the threat of the quarterback to run. So you have Derwin James, who can go sideline to sideline with him. You added another safety on the field, Adrian Phillips, right?
Adrian Phillips,
at basically all times.
Yes.
And then you ask your D-linemen to do a great job in making sure those offensive linemen can't get up to the second level to where they could just obliterate those small people out there. And maybe it was out of necessity, or partially because they had injuries, but also because this is the first time in Lamar Jackson's football career, college or pro, he's faced a team for a second time in a year. So they saw what worked and most notably what didn't work a few weeks ago when they played, and they made an adjustment, and it totally stifled the Ravens' running attack, which is why they had no offense until a rally late in the game.
There's a couple things that you worry about. If you're going to deploy 7 defensive backs on the field all the time, you worry about the linemen getting on top of them and be able to, because with the size, DBs aren't used to. They're used to being in space with guys pulling out on them. They're not used to being inside the interior part of the defense. So you got to get penetration into the backfield by the defensive lineman that throws off that offensive line, and these guys have to be able to get sideline to sideline. So that's what you worry about. With a small unit on the field, a conventional NFL offense, if it was Seattle, because Seattle doesn't run their quarterback, they run their running backs predominantly, you can take advantage of. But when your quarterback is maybe 30 to 50% of your rushing attack, you can get away with being smaller, because the change of direction, that's what you want smaller players for. And the play action. Gus Bradley thought when they got fooled in play action that the DBs could still get back into coverage,
better than
linebackers would be reacting to those play fakes.
So maybe it doesn't work against the Patriots next week.
Right.
But let's go back and talk a little bit about Lamar Jackson. And we talked about this earlier. There were calls for Joe Flacco to come in. Where do you stand on whether Harbaugh should have maybe made the turn to Flacco?
I understand why people would be calling for it, because through 3 quarters, they couldn't have been worse offensively. They kept putting the ball on the ground. Lamar couldn't complete a pass. He went 2 hours. He went from 1:07 Eastern time to 3:07 Eastern time between completions. So I get it. But Joe Flacco was not going to come in and save the day. And going to Flacco, what it would have done in my eyes is set back the development of the future of your franchise. Joe Flacco was awful his first playoff start. He was awful his fourth playoff start. He was awful in the playoffs a lot early in his career. They allowed him to work through it. Now, they were winning those games because the defense had played better. But I don't think you could have gone to Flacco and then said, but Lamar's our guy in the future. I think it would have stunted that.
Yeah, when you spend that first-round pick, when you trade to get back into the first round, you realize he's going to be the future unless it's a total collapse. Now, I've been alive long enough, and I've also covered the league long enough I've covered when we came on the TV and said, hey, you think the Ravens should replace Joe Flacco? Also, before they had the Mile High Miracle, Flacco was not very, very good in that game. So there have been times where the Baltimore fans were calling for the quarterback. Right. Now, they had that great defense, and they end up winning a Super Bowl. So Flacco, yes, he's kind of a made man, like we say with Eli Manning. But for the future of the franchise, and the reason why they end up having a special season was because they came up with a running attack where they were going to run these RPOs and this version of how we can be physical. You can't run that with Joe Flacco being in the game. So offensively, they are not a throw the ball down the field. They don't have the wide receivers to build support that. So Harbaugh did the right thing. Their future is in Lamar Jackson. They stuck with their future in this game.
And I thought it was great, just quickly, that Jimmy Smith, the corner for the Ravens, when the fans were calling for Flacco, literally went to the fans and said, how do you think we got here? So even the players on the team know that Lamar Jackson, his ability to run, was a huge reason they even got into the tournament and won the division. So really rough game for him.
Especially since Joe Flacco is most likely not going to be there. Harbaugh said after the game, look, he's going to be playing for someone. Exactly. So they knew that they were going to move on. All right, let's move on to Dallas and Seattle. Here we go. There's Dak Prescott. A lot of eyes on him. Cowboys down 4 in the fourth. Prescott with a nice pass to Amari Cooper. 34-yard gain for Dak, the longest pass of the day. 4 plays later, Ezekiel Elliott runs in the 1-yard score. Dallas up 3. All right, let's fast forward. Less than 3 minutes to go. 3rd and 14. Big play for Dak Prescott, and he runs for the first down all the way to the 1-yard line with a flip that made my little one proud. Next play, runs it in for the score. He was thrilled, Cowboys thrilled, and that guy who has backed Dak Prescott all season long, Jerry Jones, was thrilled. Cowboys pull out the 24-22 win. Here is Dak after his first playoff victory.
This team, everything we've been through, we had so much confidence coming to the game, and our confidence remains. I mean, we just played a great Seattle team, but just I mean, just honestly, it's just all about the way we fall, the way we compete through success and adversity. Proud of our guys.
Can we talk about the way this guy fought on 3rd down, running it for 16 yards to get the first down and then set up the touchdown? I mean, what were you thinking when you saw him take off?
It's simple. You're a grown man. That's what it is. That's how he played today, and he led us to this win.
All right, CC, what was it? How were the Cowboys able to win this one?
This is part of Dak's overall development. To me, we have to be careful in trying to analyze quarterbacks because everyone's not going to be Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Ben Roethlisberger. They're going to drop back in the pocket. You know where they're going to be, and they're going to deliver the ball, deliver strikes. You're going to have to be able to win a number of different ways. I think Russell Wilson has done that on a high level. Most of the time, guys, they're not able to do it on a high level, but I believe with this offensive line, with the Ezekiel Elliott, with Amari Cooper, with this collection of players, this is the type of quarterback that Dak Prescott should be. He should be. Forget what people say. Man, is he a drop back? Man, win the game. Do I have to run? Do I have to throw? He's a dual threat. He puts fear into the defense. He made great decision making. He didn't hold on to the ball, which he had done all this regular season. And late in the game, when it counted the most, not only from an offensive philosophy standpoint, supported by the offensive coordinator and the head coach, man, they ran quarterback lead draw, 3rd and 14. This is not a 3rd and 14 play, but Dak made up his mind. It wasn't blocked great. It was blocked good. The tight end on the left-hand side, he misses a block on Bobby Wagner, but he makes up his mind. I'm getting ready to split these defenders and try to go get this first down. And that right there was the biggest play that I saw this weekend. Dak making up his mind that when I have to run, I'm going to run, be smart with the football. That will be the legacy of Dak Prescott going forward.
And that play right there is the biggest play anyone in a Cowboys uniform has made since Larry Brown intercepted Neil O'Donnell to ice Super Bowl 30. I mean, if they don't pick this up, if Bobby Wagner, the single best middle linebacker in football, makes that tackle, which he would on the vast majority of quarterbacks who aren't as big and powerful as Dak, they are kicking a field goal, and all of a sudden, 2 minutes left, Russell Wilson down 6, and Seattle says, this is why we've called the game the way we did. A game that I thought they should have passed more, but said, you know what, the reason why we were just run, we thought we'd get the ball in our guys' hands down less than a score and have them go win it for us. And this is the best case scenario win for the Cowboys. Best case, because they won exactly what their identity is. Zeke was the best player on the field.
Not phenomenal, but what we expect.
Absolutely. 30 touches, 169 yards. Dak made a couple huge plays. In the passing game, the big star was Amari Cooper, and their defensive front seven annihilated Seattle. Like, what the quarterback we've talked about is Dak, a combination of Cam Newton and Jared Goff. You know the quarterback he reminded me of yesterday? Steve McNair, a guy that didn't wow you a ton with his arm, but could make the throws, and in the most critical spot says, I don't have to run past you, I can run through you. And that's what he did in the biggest play of the Cowboys season on that 3rd and 14.
So this is the Cowboys, and this is, for better or worse, the best you're going to see of the Cowboys because they were playing exactly true to their identity. Is this a team that can go out and beat the Rams? Playing like that?
Well, man, that missed field goal, you talking about a fortuitous bounce compared to going to New Orleans facing the Saints. Where would you rather go? I'd much rather go to that leaky Rams defense that can be run on. I'd much rather be in the L.A. Coliseum compared with all those Dallas fans from Southern California compared to being in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Oh no, Dallas! This is the matchup that Dallas wanted. This is the type of team the Dallas Cowboys, they could take apart the Rams. So yes, this is great for the Dallas Cowboys. Their overall physicality, winning playoff games like this. Tony Romo only won 2 playoff games. Dak he's halfway there. And Jason Garrett, the key that he won't be facing by getting that playoff win, I think that gives this team tremendous confidence moving forward.
And it gives them a chance. You don't ever get to permanently actually erase history, but you can make up for a little bit. There was a team that was 13-3 that had a home divisional round playoff game, and they squandered that opportunity against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Now you have a team that started 3-5 that was left for dead by everyone after that Monday Night Football loss. If they then turn this season, the year they started 3-5, into their trip to the NFC Championship game, which if Nick Foles helps them out again, that would be in Dallas.
Yep.
That's a game that could be in Dallas. Like, then all of a sudden you're talking about really special stuff. The Cowboys deserve a ton of credit for beating a Super Bowl tested team like the Seahawks the way they did.
All right, both Zeke and Dak want to get paid. It looks like the way they're going, they're both going.
Oh, they're getting paid.
Coming up, the Eagles' improbable run continues. That's next on First Things First.
They'd be able to afford a bunch of them tablets you about to buy your phone.
That's nice. What?
Tablets.